Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? Today we're going to talk about happiness and why some countries are much happier than Hong Kong. So, we're going to follow the same format. In the beginning, we're going to go through the passage reading, and then we're going to go on to the vocabularies, and then reflection, and at the end I'm going to give you a couple of take-home questions for you to think about and reflect on. Okay, now let us begin. The title of the passage is Work-Life Balance: Secrets from the Happiest Countries in the World. Happiness might seem like an elusive concept to quantify, but there is a science to it. Since the report began in 2012, Nordic countries, which include Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, and Iceland, plus the Faroe Islands, Greenland, and Åland, consistently turn up at the top of the list. In 2019, Finland was ranked number 1 for the second year in a row. Nordic countries rank so high on the happiness report because they have things like free education and free healthcare, low crime rates, cushy social security nets, a relatively homogeneous population, and they're fairly prosperous. Perhaps most importantly, these countries prioritize balance, which is the formula for happiness. Sachs says, they're not societies that are aiming for all of the effort and time to becoming gazillionaires. Okay, now I'm going to explain to you what is the meaning of gazillionaires. Gazillionaires just means very, very rich, okay? They're looking for a good balance of life, and the results are extremely positive, he says. They don't work long hours. A full-time work week in Denmark is typically 37 hours spread over the course of 5 days. On the other hand, the average American works 44 hours per week. And on the side note, Hong Kong people on average work more than 50 hours a week. So that is around like more than 10 hours a day if you work 5 days a week. So that's a lot compared to the other countries, okay? While many Hong Kongers see working late as a badge of honor and a way to get ahead, in Denmark, it's seen as a weakness. It shows that you can't get things done in the allotted work time. Most employees leave work around 4 p.m. Flexible work arrangements also are common. In fact, in Finland, employees have the right to shift their work day 3 hours a day. Now, 5 weeks of paid vacation is a guarantee. In Denmark, full-time employees are guaranteed 5 weeks of vacation time. In Finland, many people spend their summers in cottages called moki, where they unplug and relax with family and friends. Contrary to popular belief, giving ourselves some free time can actually improve our productivity rather than decrease it. Laurie Santos, a professor of psychology at Yale, says, stress leave is a thing. People typically go on stress leave when things are so bad at work that it's affecting their mental health, Mellish says. Stress can be a career killer. To be honest, she adds, comparing it to a low-level disability. Freedom is another value that matters in a society and determines someone's well-being, Sachs says. Can you shape your life the way you want? If you're trapped by poverty, if you're trapped by debt, the answer will be no, he says. If you have an opportunity to pursue the kind of life you want, the answer is yes. And if yes, that makes people a lot happier. No matter where you live, research shows that finding work that really maps onto your core values can make you happier, Santos says. Finding your signature strengths and working with them rather than against, that's one big thing you can do, she says. Now we have finished the passage reading. Let us move on to the vocabulary building. Now, I know that there were some or many vocabulary that were new or unfamiliar to you. Now, I'll go through some of them, okay? The first one is elusive. Now, they say that happiness is an elusive subject or an elusive concept. Now, that means it's difficult to find, catch, or achieve. Now, elusive means like it's difficult to understand. If I ask you, are you happy? You can tell me, yes, I'm happy. Then I'll ask you, why are you happy? But that will be a bit hard for you to explain because happiness is actually very hard to explain. So if I give you sentence for elusive, it can be success is rather elusive nowadays in a competitive society. Next one is quantify. Quantify means to measure the quantity of. So, for example, it is impossible to quantify the extent of loss that this company is suffering from. Or a simple sentence will be, it's hard to quantify my happiness. I cannot say I am 10% happy or 20% happy or 30% happy. It's hard to actually put an exact number on it, okay? Some things you can't really use numbers to explain, right? So that is hard to quantify, okay? The next word is cushy, social security nets. That means actually social security nets are essential to make sure that every citizens are guaranteed with their basic necessities in life. So, for example, security nets include, for example, if you are unemployed suddenly, will the government help you? If you have no more job, will the government give you money for a few months to help you find another job? Or will the government take care of your school fees or your children's necessities? For example, their school fees or the food in your home. And if the government takes care of all these things, then that country or that city has a cushy social security net, okay? Now, Nordic countries like Denmark and Sweden, all of these countries have a very good cushy social security net, okay? Next one is balance. Now, balance means the state in which different things are equal in the right proportions. So, for example, people prefer work-life balance over having to work overtime every day. In Hong Kong, many people say there's no work-life balance. Like, people work a lot and then there's no life. Like, life is very little and work is so high. So you can think about this. Do Hong Kong people have a work-life balance? Then it's a badge of honor. Badge of honor means a mark or expression of pride. So, for example, I can say that when I do something good, for example, I got really high marks in my exam, then I will wear that. I don't really wear that, but I will just always tell you. I will always say, hey, you know, I got like really high in the math examination. So just like showing off, you know. So Hong Kong people consider working late as a badge of honor. That means you can always listen to Hong Kong people saying that. Not all Hong Kong people, but then some of them will always say, oh, you know, I'm working so hard and it's like, you know, life is so hard. But then they say it with such happiness. But this should not be the case because it's also important to spend time with your family. So always working is not a good thing. Next word is guarantee. The meaning of guarantee is to assure, promise with certainty. Now, the advertisement guarantees that you will lose 10 kg of weight after consuming this product. Sometimes you see those advertisements saying that, oh, if you eat this, you lose 10 kg. But then they also guarantee it. But we should not trust them because sometimes that might not be healthy, or in the long term it might be very bad for your health, okay? Now, the next word is contrary to popular belief. Contrary to popular belief is opposite to what normal people usually think it is. So, for example, contrary to popular beliefs, sharks do not often attack humans. People always think, wow, sharks are always gonna eat humans, right? But no, actually, only 3 or 4 people die in the whole world because of shark attacks, and more people die because of cows. So people think, wow, sharks are so dangerous, but then sharks do not actually attack humans. But even cows don't, but sometimes by accident, people might die because of cows, okay? Now, next word is mental health. Mental health is, there's health, for example, when you have some health problems, so that maybe your heart has some problems or your lungs, but mental health is when your brain, or for example, your emotions have some problems, then that is mental health, okay? So a person's condition with regard to their psychological and emotional well-being, okay? Poverty means poor, basically. Poverty means poor. Thousands of families are living in poverty. Okay, so in Hong Kong there is actually a poverty line. If you earn less than, if a family of 3 earns less than 14,000, then they are considered poor. Okay, core value. Now the meaning of core value is a principle or belief that a person or an organization views as being of central importance. That means which is very important to you. Now, core value for many people in the world may be family. Family is very important, so their core value is maybe providing, feeding their children, bringing food, or giving education to their children, like that. For some people, the core value is getting success in their career, so they want to go higher and higher and higher in their job. Some people want to earn a lot of money. So what is your core value? So you have to think about it, okay? And then, one of the sentences is, respect towards personal autonomy is one of the many core values in Hong Kong. Now, next one is signature strength. Signature means, like, when you sign, there's a signature, but it also means yours only. Okay, something which only you are good at, or mainly it's about you. Okay, so strength means the good things about you. Okay, so for example, I can say that signature strength, some special strengths that only you but not everybody else has. So I can say, like Mr. Man, my signature strength is I can type very quickly. Like that is my signature strength. Like I can type very, very, very quickly, or I can speak many languages. Right? That is my signature strength. What is yours? Okay, you can also tell me in OOC what is your signature strength. Okay, now let's reflect on it. Now, achieving work-life balance is an action easier said than done. That means that it's easy to say it, right? Everybody can say it, oh, work-life balance. But it's very hard to achieve it, especially in Hong Kong, because the working hours are very, very long. So it's very hard for people to achieve work-life balance. Now, Hong Kong people are in a very undesirable position when it comes to balancing tasks at work and personal time. Hong Kong citizens have the worst work-life balance in Asia Pacific. Because Hong Kong people generally work a lot longer than other people from other cities or people from other countries. Okay, and then how can we improve it? Let's try to think of some ways to improve it, okay? So some things the government can do also. For example, the government should make a law specifically requiring employees to state clearly how many hours their staff are expected to work and how much they would get paid for overtime. In Hong Kong, if you want an employee to work overtime, you do not need to pay them. But in other countries, the law requires you to pay them. Okay? So maybe the government can help a little bit in this situation. Also, people themselves, for example, if there is a man and he's just become a dad. So for him, his children, his newborn child is very important. So he should give more time to the child. So what he can do is maybe he can try to talk to the boss or try to work out an agreement with the boss saying that, oh, I will not be coming on Saturday or Sunday, and I will be leaving maybe 5 or 6 p.m. at 5 or 6 p.m. every day because now I have a newborn child, or I can work from home, because I want to spend more time with my child, so I don't want to like come to the office that often. Hopefully the boss is kind enough to say yes, but then really depends on what kind of boss or what kind of boss you have, right? So we also need to think about like work flexibility. This is one of the examples I just told you about working from home. This is one type of work flexibility. Some people can also take, for example, they can have 3 days a week work or 4 days a week work, and they can maybe negotiate like, oh, you can pay me less, but then I want maybe 3 or 4 holidays a week because you want to do something that you like, right? So all these things can be done to make the work-life balance much better for you, okay? Now, I'll come on to the take-home questions, okay? Number 1, is it easy to achieve work-life balance in Hong Kong? Try to think about it. Try to ask your parents. Try to ask. Try to talk to your teachers also. Teachers are also pretty stressful in Hong Kong. So try to talk to different people and tell me, is there anybody in your social circle, in your life, that has achieved work-life balance? And what do most people say? Do they actually think that there is work-life balance? And then you can try to answer this question. Question number 2 is, do you prefer, number 1, earning lots of money, but being constantly stressful, like being always so stressful, always so busy? Or number 2, having a modest means having a very, okay income, but a great work-life balance. So you can think about this. Do you want a lot of money but a lot of stress? You want okay money but like very good work-life balance. So you can think about this and then get back to me, okay? So everybody, I know that your school just started, so and a lot of the exams are coming up for you guys. So hang in there, okay? You can do it. So I'll see you very soon, okay? Bye.